So I've just about finished the prologue for Horizon Forbidden West, and as someone who obviously did not get a review copy, I figured I would pump out a quick review on my first thoughts of everything that goes on before the title card, so the prologue. Just while it's all still fresh in my mind, and give a little bit of a summary of what I think so far. I mean, in a little overview at the start, I like it, I very much like it, I loved it, and I had lots of fun. So, opening up into it, we get a pan over the lands of the Far East, which is obviously where the first game was set, looking at different machines we'd seen from the first game, and locations from it as well. And of course, the Red Blight, which is the big issue with the world at the moment. We then get this set of lines from Aloy, which kind of establish her goals, and what she's been doing, which I'll just let play.
I'm running out of time, Elizabeth. The land is dying. People are suffering. Soon, they'll starve. All because of a terraforming system that's spiraling out of control. The AI you designed to control the system. Every time I think I have a lead, it comes to nothing. And every night, I have the same dream. I'm walking under a brilliant night sky, through a field of flowers. And when I arrive at the center, I see you, Elizabeth. Waiting for me. Even though you've been dead for 1,000 years. You're the closest person I've ever had to a mother. And for a moment, I feel whole. But it never lasts. I'm always left alone. This world is your legacy, Elizabeth. I won't let it slip away. The valley below is my only remaining lead. My last hope to find the backup. I'll do whatever it takes to get it. I promise. Varl?
If it isn't Aloy, the savior of Meridian, anointed of the Nora.
You know I hate being called that stuff.
Well, consider it a punishment for running out on us the very same night we beat Hades.
I grew up an outcast. Remember, I'm not much for parties.
Yeah. That one was in your honor. Just saying. So, what are we doing? Must be urgent since you left so fast. Delving into ancient ruins? Or maybe it has something to do with the Blight.
Both, actually, but, I should...
Oh no. I've been tracking you a long way. It's okay. After everything you've done to help Lenora and my family, I swore an oath to help you, no matter what. You're stuck with me now. Like bark on wood.
Okay, but if you're going to come with me, you'll need to be able to see what I see.
A focus? Never thought I'd get your second sight.
I'll give you another one later and show you how to back up your data.
Data?
Information on the device. We've got a lot to cover. I'll have to explain everything as we go.
You see like this all the time?
Since I was a little girl. Come on. Shall we?
So right off the bat, Aloy establishes that the Red Blight is killing the land as a result of Project Zero Dawn, and that her main goal is going to be to stop this. We're also shown Aloy's recurring nightmare seeing Elizabeth, who is obviously who Aloy is a clone of. Even though Elizabeth is dead, Aloy is now seeing her as a sort of mother figure, because she's obviously missing that in her life as she was made by a machine in a mounting, and quite clearly she's taken nourishment in the idea that Elizabeth might be watching over her. I do like this because it kind of establishes how Aloy does have emotional weak points and she's not just some beast that can survive anything. She of course longs for a mother, and she's already lost her father figure in the first game. And though we see further into this how stern she is on doing stuff alone, which I think that means that she's quite afraid of losing more people like Erend and Val. Anyway, so speaking of Val, we see that he's been tracking Aloy on her travels as she left immediately after the final battle of Zero Dawn. And from what I've found, it's been about 6 months since those events, so it's fairly recent. We get a nice sequence of Aloy and Val, who 100% does have feelings for Aloy, and is obviously very concerned about our safety. It's quite a nice sequence, it shows how close they are. And Aloy then proceeds to hand Val a focus, which of course shocks Val. And I think it's quite a cool way to do a focus tutorial, it's like you're walking him through the process. But so far, it's very nice. We've just got this sequence of just seeing how close they are, really. Now, unrelated to the story itself, I just have to point out how well the water in this game is done. It looks beautiful, and it's just perfectly on point, and the realism is absolutely amazing. What this game has done so far, I think, is taken everything that was good from the original game, not changed it much, but improved it. The visuals, the mechanics, there's just so much more to offer.
The focus can help us. We can scan the machine before we make our move.
So here we get off a stealth/combat part of the game where we're fighting some burrowers, which is of course a combat/focus tutorial. It's pretty simple, there's not much to say. We do see Aloy of course explain the focus to Val, who is quite clearly taken aback by how useful it is, but other than that there's really not much here. Now in the background we get a little bit of talk as Val explains to Aloy what happens after she left, which is pretty simple. Everyone had a party, Val's mother took the Nora home, and then Val set out for Aloy. I do really like how they're doing the background talk here. It does tend to fill in the gameplay, even though the ambience and the music in this game are absolutely amazing. The talk itself strongly reminds me of Joel and Ellie from the first Last of Us game, where they tend to have little small conversations through the gameplay which just kind of fill it in and make it more interesting. We then just hear Aloy kind of explain to Val how exactly she found the focus, which I'm not going to cover because everyone here should know how she found the focus. And then we get a little bit about a company called Far Zenith, which we find out a little bit more as we progress through this section of the game. Also, sorry if there's any noise in the background, there's a big hurricane sort of thing going on at the moment, which is very, very loud. We then end up coming across a small camp where obviously the people exploring it have been ravaged and killed by some sort of machine, which turns out further into this sort of area of the game to be one of those big snake machine things, which of course we end up fighting. Now, after this, we are shown our first new game mechanic, which is the rope caster. It's just pretty much a grappling hook. We use it to pull stuff to us or us to it. It's a really cool tool and it opens up a lot of opportunities for new game mechanics, and I love it. Not too long in the game and we get our first puzzle. It took me a while to solve and it involves using the rope caster, but I'm not going to go into that as it pains me to talk about. I'm not a big fan of puzzles myself, but I'm not one to complain. I have just been handed an entire new Horizon game, so I'm in quite the good mood.
Humans, Homo sapiens, us. We have always pushed the boundary as explorers, pioneers, trailblazers. And now Far Zenith is taking the next leap into the future. That's why we're proud to have resurrected the Odyssey. With our governments abandoned in orbit, Far Zenith will actualize in less than a decade. But that's only the beginning. When the ship is complete, we will send the Odyssey and her crew where no one's gone before. The Sirius system. There, we'll create humanity's first off-world colony. The Odyssey may take 300 years to reach it. But when we look up at the night sky, we'll know they're on their way. And in the words of our founder, the late Peter Chimbumbe, the truest form of immortality is data corrupt. Playback stopped.
The old ones could fly through the sky? Between the stars?
Well, yes, sort of. That ship, the Odyssey, it never made it to the other star. Something went wrong, and it blew up. Is that why Elizabeth gave them a backup of Gaia? For their colony?
Error. Public presentation file corrupted. Member recruitment file available. Do you wish to reactivate?
Yeah, reactivate. Let's see what else they had to say.
We all know the projections. Economic instability, new biocontagions, rampant AIs. How long before another catastrophe creates unacceptable risk for the world's elite? We here at Far Zenith believe, escape the inevitable. And so we reach for the stars. Now you've seen what we're building here. Infrastructure to support the Odyssey's construction. A state-of-the-art data center to facilitate rapid technological advancements. And you've seen how we're managing public perception. So invest and join us. Claim your berth on the Odyssey. Preserve your way of life beyond the concerns of Earth.
Well, they were right about the world ending. They just didn't know how. Yet.
So everything they said back there about the next step for humanity, it was all a lie. These people only cared about saving their own skin.
Yeah, well, didn't work out for them in the end. That Oswald guy mentioned a data center. There. The backup. It should be stored in there.
Won't be able to swim across.
I guess we'll have to find a way around. Come on.
So now we find out a little bit more about Far Zenith, who, to put it one way, are just complete scumbags. They want to leave the planet to save themselves and the world's elites, as they said,
I still can't
from
believe the old ones could fly.
the destruction of the planet, which is of course inevitable, as established in the first game. They want to go to some planet in the Sirius system, which would take like 300 years to get there, but that is not our problem. So it turns out they wanted to steal a copy of Gaia for this, so they could terraform the planet once they get here. And then Oswald, which is the man on the hologram, mentions the data center, which almost immediately becomes our goal for the rest of this prologue. We get a small run-in here with the Sliverfang, which we're going to fight later in this area of the game. It kind of just digs across, shows us what it can do, and starts to build the tension.
Careful. Don't want those things to call in some friends from underground. You take the left one. I'll deal with the one on the right.
Okay.
Now on the terms of the focus, we can see that you can now cycle through the different machine parts with the little rectangle things under the main circle you use to scan stuff. And on top of that, they've changed the data display layout. It's just got a slightly different colour and more spacing with the words, so that's kind of about it. And luckily enough for us, all of the changes are for the better, because I just much prefer it. I think it's quite a lot clearer what all the differences are.
Got them all. I've been meaning to mention, I noticed you have a new look these days.
Yeah, I know. Didn't have a lot of time to shave when I was trying to catch up to you. Don't worry, it's not permanent.
Good.
Sorry, my whistle.
Then we get this very light-hearted talk between Val and Aloy, where Val explains that he's been tracking her for so long he's ended up growing a beard, which is quite funny, and Aloy remarks back, good, which can be interpreted in many ways. Either she genuinely just thinks he looks like complete shit, or she just likes him and does not find it very attractive. But of course, there's not actually any evidence to support
Managed to salvage some
much,
supplies.
other than the fact that she genuinely thinks he just looks like shit. Oh, the noise from the focus is just... It's kind of like listening to the Django and Boba Fett's seismic charges. It's just yes. I like that. Now, I do very much like the new climbing mechanics in Forbidden West. It's a lot more varied, and you'll see after the prologue when you're playing the game that there are surfaces where you wouldn't think you'd be able to climb them, but if you scan them, there is so much variety in where you can go.
The meeting room. That door on the other side. Anzu.
The Zero Dawn Terraforming System, the brainchild of Dr. Elizabeth Sobek. Empowered by 9 subordinate functions, Gaia, the core of the system, is capable of advanced planetary engineering, an obvious advantage to our space colonization efforts. Operation Phase 1 Establish an asset within Project Zero Dawn. Status complete. Phase 2. The asset will secretly beamcast a complete copy of Gaia and her subordinate functions to this facility's data center. If all goes well, Zero Dawn staff will remain completely unaware of the transmission. Risks. Discovery of this operation could result in Zero Dawn withholding the already negotiated Apollo database. Special care must be taken not to alert Travis Tate, the expert hacker in charge of Hades' protocol. In addition, extreme caution must be exercised in regards to Dr. Sobek herself. As one of the world's preeminent technologists, she may have instituted unforeseen security measures. A complete assessment is attached. This concludes the executive summary.
I thought Elizabeth sent the backup here, but she didn't. Far Zenith stole Gaia.
Aloy, why does that woman look like you?
It's okay, Pearl. We look alike because we're the exact same. Genetically identical.
But she was one of the old ones. How can you be her?
Because I wasn't born. I was made. By a machine. It's why I'm motherless, why I was cast out as an infant.
I don't understand. What kind of machine can make a person?
Remember when I said the backup is like a set of instructions? It's more than that. It's called Gaia. And for a long time, she cared for the world until she had to destroy herself. So she made me to bring her back. I'm the only one who can. And this place is my last hope.
You once said the goddess spoke to you when you went into All-Mother Mountain. Was that this Gaia?
Yes, but she's not the goddess, Laurel. There isn't one.
How can you be sure? It sounds like she anointed you with a sacred task.
I've had a lot of time to figure this out. And you will too, with the focus. But for now, the reports said they were going to store the stolen copy of Gaia in the data center. So that's where we have to go. Okay?
So in this scene, which we have kind of already talked about, we see Zenith and their plan to steal a copy of Gaia. We're also told about a character called Travis Tate, who is an expert hacker for Project Zero Dawn, who I am pretty confident will have a greater impact in the later game, although so far I have only played up to when you actually get access to the Forbidden West, which is after the prologue. It's quite a while into the game. Aloy then explains to Val how she was made by a machine, or his god, in the mountain, and tells him how it's completely fake, which of course takes Val a minute to process, and he denies it at first, questioning how she could possibly be made by a machine, which I'm sure anyone in Val's position would. Though I would like to point out, when he first saw that she was a clone, he kind of seemed a little bit angry. I'm not sure if that's just me, but it's just kind of a tone I picked up on in his voice. We also see Aloy once again saying that she's the only one that can save the world, which further establishes how unwilling she is to take help from friends, and that she's being very shut off to everyone else, which I'm sure will lessen throughout the game with, you know, the magic of character development.
Osram, we'll never get through to the data center.
There's no way to slip past them. They're too tough to fight head-on.
We could find a settlement. Convince some hunters to help us.
That would take weeks, and we don't have that kind of time. Maybe all we need is that shuttle to fall.
That thing? How?
We'll figure it out. Just wait here.
Aloy.
Trust me.
Next we see the Slitherfang, who she plans to drop a freaking rocket ship on, which I think is pretty cool. And I'm sure it will collapse in some way when she's climbing up it, mostly due to the storm she mentioned earlier. I know I am very, very intentionally shadowing here. And then we're more than going to likely have to fight one of the Slitherfangs. Now the clip I'm showing during this shows a cool new mechanic that I really like, involving holding R2 to do a charged heavy attack, which can be used to knock down smaller machines, and then you can just follow up with a critical attack, letting you two-shot lot machines. It's very overpowered, and I've been using it a lot in my gameplay. Our next goal becomes to climb a tower and release the bolts on the rocket ship. This is to drop the ships, of course, onto the Slitherfangs. It's a small puzzle-solving section, and it's fairly simple overall. And in the end, when we get to the top, we manage to release the bolts, and this cutscene plays out. Now, this was a cool cutscene. It really just shows off how good of a Nora hunter she is, and how skilled she is. Now, immediately after this cutscene, we tend to just transition straight into the boss fight, and you're fighting the Slitherfang, which is pinned down by its tail. Now, what's cool about this boss fight is that you can use the tails of the Slitherfang to shoot at it with a sort of energy cannon. You can knock them off throughout the series of the fight, and you get a certain amount of shots with them. Now, when I was doing the fight, I didn't notice this, so I did it the entire thing with the bow, and then I realised after the boss fight, oh god, I can use the tail. The Slitherfang itself was quite an easy boss fight. It was a good way to show you how they work when you're first playing the game. It's the first boss fight in the game, so it's kind of getting you used to it. The Slitherfang itself only had a few different attacks, including a acid spray, a bite, and when it gets free it can do them, but this time, you know, it's moving. And I do want to give credit to how well they transition between the gameplays and the cutscenes. I just think it's really fluid, and it just works really well in making you ever so slightly more immersed. So immediately after the fight, Aloy heads straight into the data center, and we transition quite quickly into this cutscene.
Please be here. It's here.
Gaia version 6.9. Initializing. Hello.
Hi. Elizabeth? Travis Tate.
Now, what's this we got here? A Farsian's conspiracy to steal a copy of Gaia? And her subordinate functions? Naughty, naughty. You want me to handle this, Liz? Blasphemers! Brood of vipers! With a mighty hand I smite and pour troubles upon you! This ain't no copy of Gaia you stole, you losers. But it's the mother of all logic bombs. So good luck repairing your data. And next time you start thinking you can outsmart a Tate, remember my salute.
Aloy? The goddess.
There is no goddess. I told you that already. That's not Gaia. It's not what I'm looking for. It's nothing but a fake.
got it.
Varl, I'm sorry.
You have a sharp bite sometimes, you know? But it was pretty amazing to see you fly off that tower and blow up the entire basin.
The thing is, there's going to be more of that. I'm out of leads, Varl. But I have to keep searching. And fast. And whatever risks I have to take, I will. And it doesn't make sense to have someone with me. Someone who might get hurt. This is on me, Varl. Nobody else.
Hold on. Before, in Meridian, you said there was a man who helped you. Silence. You said you used to talk to him a lot about things you discovered from the old world, things no one else understands. And he gave you the lance you used to defeat Hades.
He's gone, Varl. I haven't heard from him since the battle against Hades.
Sure, but Spy Master Murad back in Meridian, he's good at finding people, isn't he?
Varl,
Come on, it might work. Plus, you'll get to see some friendly faces again.
Okay. I guess it's worth a shot.
We've got a long walk ahead.
Actually, I've got a better idea.
Son, it's true. She's come back.
Bless us. The savior of Meridian has returned.
You earned this welcome. You saved them.
Not yet.
In the name of the Sun King of Vard, a royal welcome for the champion.
Make way.
Murad, Aloy has an urgent matter to discuss.
Dashane, that makes two of us. I've sent forth hunters for weeks, to Sunfall all the way to the Sacred Land, searching for you. Something happened at the Spire. Come. I'll show you. Watch your step. You saved us all, to be sure, but we're still cleaning up the mess. It happened right after the solstice. We were able to explain it away, thank the sun. Otherwise, it might have caused a panic. One night, for less than half a minute, it glowed an angry red. From Meridian, it looked like a trick of the light. But those who were closer, atop the light, said it could not have been a reflection. Much to my dismay, they said the light rose up from the tower's base. From that. We left everything just as it was.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. The Spire's supposed to send out signals, messages, for the terraforming system.
But Hades tried to use it to wake up ancient war machines.
I was sure I cut the connection to that thing. Wait here while I check it out.
Let us know what you find.
I've got a bad feeling about this. I could pull this thing out. What? Transmission.
Get ready for a lot of talking because I have a lot to say now. So, here we found out that Zenith in fact failed to find a copy of Gaia, and instead what they encountered was a logic bomb disguised as Gaia that completely wiped the Zenith data, and it was made by their hacker Travis Tate. I do want to point out that Elizabeth's silence is very weird, and the way she looked at Travis in the cutscene was a little bit unsettling. I guess uncanny would be the good word. Val then enters and immediately recognizes Gaia as the All-Mother, and Aloy quite harshly replies there is no goddess, with quite a lot of venom behind it. After exiting the facility, she does apologise to Val, who quite cleverly suggests that they should hunt down Silence. I do love watching Val slowly become accustomed to Aloy's world more and more and just getting used to all the craziness in it. After they return to Meridian, they are greeted by Merritt, who is obviously a little bit annoyed at Aloy's disappearance, but holds back. It is revealed that what Silence gave her was a staff with a built-in transmitter to move Hades to Silence, which we saw, of course, at the end of Zero Dawn in the final cutscene. And to find where you transmitted it, the information Aloy needs is at the top of the spire, so we end up climbing up there.
An elevator? Let's see.
Access lift activated.
Lucky day.
Engaging maintenance configuration.
The whole thing is opening up. Wonder what the Carja will make of this. There's the note. Sword of the Far West. Bastard.
Well, Aloy, I see you finally figured it out. To be honest, I'm surprised it took you so long to discover my rules.
You raped the lands to steal Hades. How could you be so reckless?
Reckless? You're the one who tried to purge Hades before its precious knowledge could be extracted. The mysterious signal that woke it, for example. Or why to obtain one of those Gaia backups you've been having such a hard time finding.
If you knew, why didn't you just tell me?
I've been having problems of my own these past 6 months, Aloy. The difference is, I've made progress. So once your anger at my entirely necessary deception has faded, why don't you come out here and find me in the Forbidden West and learn all that I've discovered?
Oh, I'll come find you, all right.
Yes. Well, the coordinates make it simple enough. Even for you.
Gah!
At the top, we discover the direction Hades has gone in, but also we get a little visit from Silence back in hologram form, like he was for the duration of Zero Dawn, where he confirms that he's definitely had Hades and has been interrogating, or more so torturing him, for information. Here we confirm it's been about 6 months since the end of Zero Dawn, and Silence, I want to point out, is being very condescending for the entirety of this sequence, treating Aloy like stupid filth and only really a tool to him.
The West is called Forbidden for a reason. A tribe of ferocious warriors controls much of it, the Tenakth, and they allow no trespassers past its border. That said, under the Sun King of Ard, a fragile peace has been negotiated, and indeed, the next embassy will take place in a day or two on the edge of the frontier. Were you to attend the gathering under his auspices, the Tenakth might grant right of passage, instead of hunting you and attacking on sight.
Great, just what I need. More killers.
The Sun King.
Aloy, it's good to see you. You left in such haste. We never had a chance to properly thank you.
Can we show the champion the spear now? Please?
Itamin, quiet.
It's true. We bear gifts. Decorum usually calls for a ceremony of offering at the palace, but I thought you would prefer a less formal occasion. Bring them, please.
Avad, this is all very kind, but Who's it? Vanasha.
Quick. Better hand them over before she runs off again.
Really? Must you?
Try it on.
So after this, you get the option to go and see and talk to different people, including the Sun King, where you can find out that his coven has been taken by the Tenka as a captive, and he's been there for about 4 years, if I remember correctly. And as well as that, the Sun King confirms his feelings to Aloy, which I don't really think Aloy returns in the same way. You can then go see Euthyd and Vanasha, who are definitely not happy about Aloy's disappearance, but also hold back. Vanasha is now a nanny for Avad the Sun King's kids.
Is that the time? Or do you want to chat some more with your friends?
I better get going. And if I'm headed west, it sounds like I'll need rite of passage from the Tenakth, as you said. Where exactly is this embassy going to be held?
Past the Daunt, the canyon that marks the western border of the Sundom. You'll find the fortress of Barren Light at its farthest edge. The embassy will take place just beyond its gates. It's a long march, a fortnight on foot.
A couple of days hard riding should get us there.
Actually, it might be better to rest here tonight. Head out in the morning.
Of course. I'll arrange it.
Am I the one to hold this crown of ash and salt? Their kindness calls to me. I have to block it out. My voice has grown so somber. These words don't seem like mine, but the iron won't subside. No matter what I try. Am I raindrops in the flood? In this emptiness, in the storm, the path we lost. And my raindrops in the flood, in this emptiness, in the storm. If I'm broken, if I'm torn, the wave inside my soul carries all I know. Who can take my hand in the
I mean, what more can I say? It's such a good ending to the prologue. The music is superb and the cinematics are beautiful. I absolutely love it. I'm shocked by how good this game is so far. The prologue establishes the plot very well. It does drag on a little bit at points, but I still enjoyed it. We're reintroduced to so many characters and there are so many good cutscenes. It establishes more lore for the game and just reminds us about how much it has to offer. I'm just so happy with it, and I hope you are as well. It's an amazing game so far, and I really hope my opinion remains as I play through the rest of it. I'll definitely eventually do a full review, although it's going to be a long-ass review. I mean, what, we're looking at 45-ish minutes, and this is just a prologue. So, yeah, I hope this review was useful to you, even though it is just the prologue, and I just kind of shared my thoughts. But, yeah, I appreciate you for watching if you got to this point. I will be going now. Bye-bye. I'm going to go actually play more of the game.